onto your stomach. I'm gonna leave my lovely sheepskin rug there for some tactile comfort. You can come down to Sphinx pose. In Sphinx pose, elbows drop down right below shoulders. Forearms parallel to one another. If this is too much compression on your lower back, if you feel it like a pinching sensation or you just don't like the sensation, bring your elbows forward a bit. And if it's not appropriate for you to be on your belly, then lay on your back. And if you have like a heavy blanket or even a pillow, you can put that over your abdomen. We're going to use the floor, the pressure that the floor is giving us intentionally. So from Sphinx, grab opposite elbows, wiggle your butt back and forth, and just kind of loosen your legs so they're a comfortable distance apart. And then let your head hang forward. Walk your elbows forward just enough for your head in this hanging down position to rest on your forearms. So the idea is that you keep your elbows as close to you as possible, but then you have a place to rest your head. And if that's not happening, you could just open up your elbows, make a pillow with your hands. But if you can, keep a little bit of a back bend, all the better. We'll spend a few breaths here together. Keep it simple, in and out, through the nose. After you've just gotten more accustomed to being in this relationship to gravity, keep your head down, keep your body in this posture, but shift your focus to any experience of movement that you can sense in your lower back. See if you can sense your sacrum moving in space. And as a possibility, what might be happening is that the top of your sacrum lifts up. You might even feel it as like your waist expanding. And then with your exhale, it sort of dips back into that lower spinal curve. As you inhale, it lifts up, and then exhale. I like the image of a little boat rocking on the tide, rocking with the tide. And now with your head and shoulders relaxing a little more with each breath, see if you can keep your focus in the lower part of your breath. Inhaling all the way down to your low back, your sacrum expanding there, maybe even into the pelvis. And as you exhale, imagine lifting your belly button off of the floor. Engage whatever amount of that action you can without clenching your butt or your jaw. Inhale, let your belly expand, sense your low back expanding, widening, and exhale, engage your low abdomen. As much in your mind as you are physically. And we're going to do this for a few rounds. Keep your focus soft, watching the possibility of this happening rather than starting to engage really intensely with executing an action. And I encourage you to be aware of what comes up. Maybe the openness of the instruction brings up a particular reaction or feeling. You stay observant and attentive to yourself, your own process, with curiosity, rather than assigning a definitive meaning to it. You might notice that it starts to shift. The same is true of our bodies. The same is true of our relationships. One more breath here, like this, following the pattern. And then let your arms slide apart and bring your hands in line with your nipples like you would have them for cobra, forehead on the floor. Tuck your toes, bend your knees into the ground, stick your butt up a little bit, and push onto hands and knees. Walk your knees forward so they're underneath your pelvis. Bring your hands to shoulders with distance. Inhale, let your belly melt. At the same time, see if you can maintain some of that sense of expansion in your low back so you don't just sink in. And then on exhale, really round into a cat stretch. Tuck your toes under and push the floor with your toes. Inhale, untuck, look forward. Allow your belly and your back to expand. Exhale, lift your belly button, round your spine, tuck your toes, and push until you're empty of breath. Inhale, untuck, look forward, expand. Exhale, round your spine, tuck your toes, and push through your hands and your feet, belly to spine. 2 more times. Inhale. Notice this contrast of expand, contract. Exhale, round. See if you can localize the contraction into your abdomen and not your jaw or your eyes or your forehead. Exhale, round. Good, and then come to a neutral spine. It's basically what we were doing on the inhale. Expand your low back. Bring your knees together to touch and send your left leg straight back. Tuck your toes under, straight leg just like in a lunge. And then with your hands, rock forward and back. So you get a little stretch in your foot. You might even feel it in your calf. And get curious here. I invite you to kind of drop form for a bit and let your left hip kind of drop down. You might circle around a little bit. Roll across every tip of every toe. And then find neutral again. Press clearly through your toes into the ground. Engage your left quadriceps now and lengthen the sides of your neck. Maybe you gaze slightly forward. Inhale and allow for the possibility that you're expanding here, your skin softening as it stretches. Exhale, belly to spine. Push through your hands and your left foot. Keep that engagement in your left leg and lift your left foot off the floor. Maybe lift your gaze. As you exhale, hug in not only with your belly button, but your left thigh bone. Drag it into its socket. As you find all of these kind of big muscular actions in your core, notice what's happening in your extremities, your fingers, your face. Can you find softness even there? Good, and then lower your left toes to the floor. Look over your right shoulder. Move your left foot over so you can see it. You're in a side bend now. Inhale deeply, stretch through your left side. As you exhale, lean into that left side stretch. Push your left heel back. Use your hands to push into this side stretch. Keep looking over your right shoulder. And again, keep in mind the possibility that you can be expansive and soft while engaged and strong. Notice what comes up as far as feeling, thought. Meet it with some curiosity. Come back to center. With your knees together, tuck your toes. Scoot your knees back so you've got a really nice tight fold on your toes, and then open your knees about 5 inches apart. Sit back on your heels. If it's too much to take your hands off the floor, keep your chest forward and your weight in your fingertips. If you can come straight up, just be clear about what you're doing to be in this shape. No grunting or gritting your teeth. Sit. Melt. Inhale all the way down into your pelvis. Fill up that space. And as you exhale, bring your navel to your spine enough to feel supported so that you can relax your shoulders and your neck. And we'll move on to the other side. Hands and knees. Bring your knees together again. Send your right leg straight back, toes tucked under like a lunge. Push the floor with your toe tips. Engage your right quadriceps. Gaze forward slightly, not so much that the back of your neck shortens, but so you feel length in all sides of your neck. Rock forward and back, you're pushing with your hands as much as your foot, and then let yourself kind of get curious. What happens if you get heavy in your right hip? If you make more of a circle pattern, if you lift your right hip up and get into the array of sensations available to you here. And then something like neutral. Push the floor with your right toe tips. Engage those quadriceps again. Extend the sides of your neck, and keeping your right leg super strong as though it were bolstering you against the ground. Lift your right foot up. Inhale here, get wide, soft through shoulders. Exhale, belly button to spine. Hug your right thigh bone in like you were suctioning it into its socket. And with all of that action of hugging, holding, find spaciousness in the palms of your hands, in your throat, in your forehead, in your breath. Notice the challenge to do those things at the same time. Lower your right foot, look over your left shoulder, bring your right foot over so you can see it and so that you start to feel this side stretch. Inhale fully. As you exhale, use your hands to push yourself deeper into the side bend. You're shortening the left side of your waist. Push with your right foot. As much as you engage, hugging in, action in your low belly, your hips. Find spaciousness in the soles of your feet, the palms of your hands, and your face. Release this, come back to kneeling. Knees together touching, tuck your toes. Scoot your knees back just a touch, and then open your knees apart about 5 inches. Come back to your toe stretch. Relax your arms, palms to thighs, or interlace your fingers together. Flip your palms inside out and send your arms straight up overhead. Flex your wrists so that your palms face the ceiling, and at the same time find softness through your pelvis, your low belly. Take a long, slow, deep breath in. Exhale, draw your belly button to your spine as a way of lengthening your spine and your arms. Fill up and empty out. Fill up and empty out. Good. And then release your arms, come to standing. You'll notice that my head gets chopped off, but what I want you to see is my lower half anyway. Stand with your feet parallel to one another and about shoulders width distance apart, so that's definitely wider than your pelvis. Look at your feet, see what they're doing, and then bend your knees a bit and start to play with your weight distribution. You're really just experimenting here. Move your weight side to side, front to back, circle, zigzag. Notice how your feet respond to movement. Notice how they don't respond. Notice if there's any areas of your feet that don't move, or areas of your feet that move a lot more than others. Bend your knees as deeply as you can without lifting your heels off the floor. And then slowly extend your legs. Now close your eyes and do that again, seeing if you can sense that you're tracking your knees directly forward over your toes. Keep your chest upright. Stop when you feel like you need to lift your heels. Relax your jaw and your pelvis. See if you can sink another 1/2 inch without lifting your heels or tipping forward, and then stand up. You're gonna do that one more time. Imagine you're on a wall and you're sliding straight down, so don't let your chest pitch forward. Heavy hips, loose shoulders. You might shake them out on purpose. Sense your feet. Notice where you start to peel away from the ground. Sink more into the ground, but all of your foot. Just let it get heavy without collapsing. See if you can sink another 1/2 inch. Relax your tail. And then come up. Bring your feet directly underneath your hip joints. They'll come in at least a couple inches. See that they're doing the same thing, and then focus your eyes straight out in front of you, not looking down or up or at anything in particular. Soften your face. And with your eyes resting softly ahead as though you were about to move forward, just notice your own posture. What have you become more sensitive to? The way you stand. And now bring your attention up from your feet, from the way that you're making contact with the earth, to your knees. And can you sense how the way your feet meet the earth impacts the direction your knees point, or the amount of tension present in your knee joints? And you'll notice your body kind of in real time adjusting itself or attempting to change. Let that happen, observe it. You don't need to change anything right now. There's nothing to be fixed. There's nothing to be fixed when you're in observation mode. Now notice how your knees impact your pelvis, and specifically your hip joints. How are you related to or disconnected from the earth in your pelvis? And then how does this impact your diaphragm? Your body's willingness to soften and expand, to allow an intake of information and nourishment. And what is the relationship between your base, all these structures we've looked at on the way up, to your shoulders? The direction your shoulders point, the tension you sense or don't sense in your shoulders. And now head, jaw, eyeballs, ears. Maybe now you close your eyes. What can you sense about how your sense organs in your head are impacted by your relationship to the earth? With your eyes closed and your feet directly underneath your pelvis, just let yourself get slack a little bit, a little bend in the knees, a little slump in the shoulders. Drop your chin forward. And imagine your head weighed 20 pounds. Just let your head start to draw your body down in a forward fold. It's really important you relax your arms here. Just let them hang like rope. Try not to clench your butt. Just roll down through your spine, being led by the weight of your head. Go nice and slow so you catch yourself in maybe a pattern of gripping in the shoulders or clenching your butt. Give a little shake. Keep rolling down. Head nice and heavy. Spine and arms like rope. Sink deep into your forward fold. Your knees can bend a lot.
If you like the feeling of hamstring stretch, you can keep your legs a little more straight, as long as there's no strain. Keep your feet pressed into the earth. Keep your head and arms very heavy and start to roll up, sensing your belly button pushing up against your spine. And slowly stack your spine up on itself. We're gonna do this to the right. I'm going to the right, so it's gonna look opposite from you. Go to your right, bring right ear to right shoulder. Little bend in your knees, let yourself melt. If you're familiar with modern dance, you just wanna be like a liquid modern dancer, limbs just pouring through space. Liquid bones. Fill your head and your arms with water. Feel how heavy they get. Roll down, stretching out the side. Maybe your fingertips touch the floor. You might need to bend your knees for that to happen. And then here, just get curious. Kind of play any rocking of your weight, keeping your head and your neck and your spine and your arms really heavy, like water snakes. Push into the floor to roll up. Keep it as a side bend as much as you can. Come to center. We're going to go right to the other side. Left ear to left shoulder to start. Kind of swing your torso to the left. Sense your arms getting heavier and heavier and heavier as you go down. Relax your hips. Feet heavy on the floor. Play with your weight. Roll around your feet. Keep it as a side stretch here. Your body's kind of swung over to the left and roll up. Keep your eyes closed or close them if they've opened. Find center in your posture. Equal weight, right to left, front to back, top to bottom. Observe. Be curious. Get interested. Good. And then widen your feet just a little bit. We're going to do a little bit of a breath and movement practice inspired by Qigong. I've been digging back into my roots lately. You will take your arms out to the side and up overhead. And then as you exhale, turn your palms toward the floor and press down. You'll see my hands come back into view. Press all the way down towards the floor, a little bend in your knees. The image that helps me is thinking of my hands like a French press, and you're just pressing all of the grit and distraction down into the earth for composting. Inhale, open, expand, fill up. Exhale, use your hands to plunge any grit, any graininess, any chaos, any sludge from your field into the earth. We'll do it a few times. Inhale. Find your own rhythm. Feel for the possibility of sensing gravity in your limbs, in the palms of your hands, in your tailbone, in your pulse. Sense the role of gravity. Notice if there's any other way of moving, any asymmetry that wants to come in. A sway, a twist, a shift of weight.
Move into that with curiosity. Move towards that impulse with curiosity. Go for about another minute here. I'm going to request that whether you feel like it or not, you move a little faster. Don't override your sense of safety and grounding, but add a faster pace. Move faster. Move your breath faster, move your limbs faster. As fast as you can without losing your sense of safety. And start to slow it down. Slow as you can while still moving. Gradually making your way back to an upright posture that gives you a sense of grounding and center. Notice what that means for you today, a sense of grounding and center in your body. Slowly make your way down onto your back. Lay down with your legs stretched out, your arms alongside you. Bring your feet to about hips width distance apart and flex your ankles as though you were standing up, but you've got your back supported. So there can be a good amount of spaciousness between your shoulder blades. No need for a kind of a military stance. Sense your front bottom ribs moving down, or if you have more access to the back, your back bottom ribs moving into the ground. I've got a little less sensitivity there. And then draw your right knee into your chest. You may want to bend your left knee and put your foot on the floor in order to not aggravate any low back stuff. But if you can keep your left leg down on the ground, keep it very straight. Flex that ankle, press your thigh down into the ground, even engage your left glutes. Keep your right knee drawn into your chest, or extend your right leg straight up to the ceiling. And I mean straight up. Even if you can go closer to your body, go straight up. Hold the back of your leg. You could also use a towel around your foot. Engage your legs. Flex. Hug your thigh bones into their sockets. Engage your glutes. Do not grit your teeth. Notice what it takes for you to be able to do both. Next phase of this may mean that you bend your bottom leg in order to not aggravate any low back or hip stuff. Bend your right leg and bring it into happy baby. Knee outside ribs. Hold on to the sole of your foot with your right hand or both hands. I kind of like interlacing my hands around the sole of the foot. This time, keep your left leg super strong if it's straight, but hover it off the ground. If you need a little reprieve for your low back, your groins, your hips, bend your left knee. Hug in with your thighs. Engage your lower half strongly. And relax your upper half. Find the balance point. So only as much effort in your lower half as allows for the upper half to be relaxed. Notice what your shoulders are doing, what they want to do, and what you want them to do. Find some softness. Good. Go from here into eye of the needle. Bend your left knee if it's not. Cross your right ankle over your left thigh and hug it in. Just one long, slow, deep breath here. Flex both ankles a lot. Inhale deeply. Exhale. Press your knees toward your chest. And then unwind your legs and lay flat on your back for a long, slow, deep breath. Track sensation throughout your body. Start with 2 straight legs. Right leg very straight, flex your ankle, and then bend your left knee and bring it into your chest. If that's too much sensation, then bend your right knee and put that foot on the floor. Inhale and see if you can keep your back bottom ribs close to the floor. As you exhale, engage your right leg strongly from your ankle to your quads to your glutes even. And then if you want to, straighten your left leg. Push to the ceiling with your left heel. At the same time, pull into your hip socket with your left thigh bone. Engage both legs very strongly and find spaciousness through your armpits, your jaw, and the skin between your eyes. Bend your left knee and bring your leg into happy baby. You can bend your right knee to create more space, or keep your right leg straight but hover it off the ground. Draw your left knee down and a little bit wide outside the ribs. Engage in with your thigh bones, in toward the pelvis. Find space in your armpits, your jaw, and the skin between your eyes. Notice what your breath is doing. Bend your right knee if it's not. Bring your left ankle across your right thigh and then draw both of your legs in toward your chest. Flex both of your ankles. Inhale deeply. Exhale, hug in. And then unwind your legs. Lay flat on your back for a breath. Notice what's shifting. Sensation, temperature, energy level, breath, mood. Roll over onto one side and come up to sitting. Maybe use a blanket or a towel or a cushion to sit more comfortably. Two things we're going to do to close our practice today. The first is a short round. Well, it's not actually that short. One round. It's a little longer than probably you want it to be. Of breath of fire. As an option, you'll hold your arms up with your thumbs extended. So some of you may recognize this, the Kundalini practice called Ego Eradicator. We're not doing it for 3 minutes. That practice is 3 minutes. We're going to do half that, so 90 seconds. We'll take a moment to come down from that practice as it's activating. And we're going to move pretty directly into the Gayatri mantra. The reason why I'm giving you this explanation now is because I would like for you to have as clear a transition as possible from this Agni or fire stoking practice into an invocation or prayer of reverence is really what it is, to life-giving radiance. And ultimately that's what our fire is meant to be. And I know for myself, my fire very easily gets aggravated and distorted into anger, aggression, criticism. There's a wildfire burning in my sightline right now. It's destructive. And while there is such a thing as righteous anger, ultimately it has to be life supporting. So directing our radiance toward that which is sustaining of life, our well-being, our capacity to ingest, digest, assimilate, grow, and rest. And I don't know about you, but I'm having a pretty hard time being at rest these days. And at the same time, I'm utterly exhausted. So if there's resonance in that for you, this practice is for you. And you may find resonance in another element of this practice that is not what I'm directly focusing on today. So I encourage you to participate anyway. With breath of fire, it can be pretty activating. So at any point you can shift from the breath of fire technique to a steady inhale, exhale through the nose, nasal inhale, exhale. With the arms, if there's any injury or limitation that makes this painful or overly intense, keep your arms down and you'll still get the benefit of the practice. Easiest way to learn / teach breath of fire, I think. Place one hand over your diaphragm, upper abdomen, and 5 times in rapid succession, blow out a candle. Now do that with your mouth closed. Doesn't need to be faster than that, doesn't need to be harder than that. So we'll do that for 90 seconds. You can always slow it down and turn it into Ujjayi breath. I've got my eyes on the clock, promise. Arms up, a wide V. Curl your fingers in, stick your thumbs up, and imagine them magnetically attached to the ceiling. Soften your shoulder blades as much as you can. Soften your rib case as much as you can. And take a long, slow breath. In through your nose, out through your mouth. Inhale about halfway and begin. Start to slow it down. Count down from 10 on your own breaths. At the end of 10, inhale to capacity all the way down into your pelvis. Get heavy with your breath. Hold your breath in, bring your thumb tips to touch over your head. If your arms are down, keep them down. Push thumb tips together. Expand your body even more. Hold that breath in. Exhale, bring your hands to prayer in front of your chest. Close your eyes. Track sensation. Notice your experience with curiosity. Sense the ground underneath your body. And admit your body weight to gravity. We'll do a few rounds of call and response. I'll break down the mantra if you don't know it. Repeat after me. Om Bhur. Om Bhur. Bhuva Svaha. Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur. Tat Savitur. Varenyam. Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya. Bhargo Devasya. Dhimahi. Dhimahi. Dhyo yo naha. Dhyo yo naha. Prachodayat. Prachodayat. Let's go line by line. Repeat after me. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhyo yo naha. Prachodayat. I'm going to chant it 3 times. Feel free to join or listen. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhyo yo naha. Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhyo yo naha. Prachodayat. Om Bhur Bhuva Svaha. Tat Savitur Varenyam. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Dhyo yo naha. Prachodayat. Allow your hands to rest, your belly to soften, and sense the unconditional support from the earth underneath you. That admission of your own weight, your own presence here in time and space. Notice where you can sense or imagine radiant light emanating from inside of you. Even if it's a tiny star-like point of light. We all know that those tiny points of light we recognize in the sky are in fact immense, powerful blazes of fire. We'll spend the next few moments sitting in recognition of your internal radiance. You're welcome to stay in this place as long as you like. This practice is an offering to my friend and teacher, Davina Simmons, who is an incredible person and specifically is devoted herself to supporting Black birthing bodies having not only a fulfilling but a safe experience giving birth. And so I thank you for taking part in this practice and helping me do the support work that I feel called to do in order to support her in doing the support work that she's called to do. Namaste.